Welcome to the April 15th Board of Selectmen's meeting. If you'd stand for the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we'll open up the public meeting for public comments. Does anybody have anything they'd like to bring up other than what's on the agenda?
Did you notice I edited
What a
your
statement.
narrative on the, so,
Oh, okay.
not that you have to follow it, it's just,
And then later in the agenda, there will be a second opportunity to address items raised during the meeting. So thank you.
because other people come here and they think that that's gonna be their one and only chance. And that's-
So are we all set? No, nobody, no public comment? Okay. The announcements in community calendars. Take pride in the community and join us for Cleanup Day, April 20th. Sign in at the Public Works Garage at 9 a.m., 803 White Mountain Highway, where roads will be assigned to volunteers and trash bags will be distributed. Cleanup begins at 9:30. Public Works will collect all the filled bags. Volunteers are invited to bring, invited back at the Public Works Garage for a cookout at noon. Refreshments have been donated by our local businesses. There will be a rabies vaccination clinic on Saturday, April 27th, 2024, at the Public Works Garage, 803 White Mountain Highway, from 2 to 5.
Mr. Chairman, that's actually supposed to be 9 to 12.
Okay.
9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
So 9 a.m. to 12, so you'd be really late. So 9 to 12, dogs and cats, the cost is $25 per an animal. And if you have any questions, please contact the Milton Police, 603-652-4514. The town clerk will be present to register your dogs. Thank you, Mr. Brian Leclerc. National Drug Take Back Day, April 27th, 10 to 2. Take any unused prescriptions and drop off at the Milton Police Department. Dogs need to be licensed by April 30th. The Household Hazardous Waste Collection Day is May 4th, 2024, 8:30 to 12:30, and it is held at Waste Management Landfill in Rochester, New Hampshire.
I got one too.
Okay?
Yeah, the Milton, one that didn't end up on the agenda is the Milton Historical Society has a meeting this Wednesday, April 17th, from 6 to 7:30 p.m. It's about the annual yard sale. It's going to be held at Buc-ee's. Parking can be in that parking lot there or across the street at Dollar General, but they'll be discussing the upcoming annual yard sale.
Okay. Okay, up next, department head reports. I see Billy, I see Mr. Leclerc. You want to go first, Mr. Leclerc?
Sure. So nothing new to report. Delinquent tax notices went out. That's just to make everyone aware. There's no leaning or deeding happening at this time. Just to touch on the vaccination clinic, we're only going to be able to accept cash or checks, but we still will process the licenses there.
No, that's the first year that you've done this, right? Register dogs at the town barn?
No idea, it just seemed to make sense to me to avoid people from having to come here.
Michelle's been there in the past.
Oh, she has?
So I guess I'm not special. Okay, thank you.
All right, well, no, thank you for doing that, and I appreciate it. Okay, Billy. I don't see anybody else here for, other than the chief.
Well,
All right, we'll let Billy go, and then,
Not a whole lot. We're about one person shy away from a full crew now.
well,
Just interviewed another guy the other day that we think we're going to work out, and we gave him a tentative offer that I'll bring to you guys a little later. So I think we're down. We're looking for our buildings and grounds guys still. I think the rest of it's filled. tentatively. And still doing storm cleanup. Chipper was down a couple of days last week, so we're about halfway through town now, but all the roads are clear and passable. We're just taking care of the stuff on the sides of the road. Haven't been getting a ton of complaints. Probably gonna start gearing up to do dirt roads here in the next week, and following that, we're gonna start hitting some of these collapsed culverts and getting geared up for paving. Looking at buying a new truck, which I'm on the agenda for. I'll let you guys know after. And that's about all I have right now.
Okay.
Unless you guys have some questions.
Thanks, Billy. Okay, Chief?
So you already spoke about the drug take-back day. The drug take-back day is only for prescription drugs, so only pills. We can take some aerosols and some lotions. We can't take gels, and we can't take any liquids, and we can't take any needles. So none of those can come in place in the box. DTF will not accept those in the box. They are the ones that end up taking everything and destroying it for us. Rabies clinic, when you do come, please make sure that your dog is on a leash and your cat is in a carrier. If your dog is not friendly, leave your dog in the car. You can line up, and then you can go back and get your dog, or the vet usually will walk over to your car with you and deal with it at your car. If your dog has a ton of anxiety and your dog is going to pull and drag you and knock you on the ground, leave your dog in the car, just come up, get in line, and we'll facilitate getting your dog its rabies shot. We don't want to have anybody get hurt. We don't want anybody to get pulled down, and we don't want any dog fights. If your dog gets into a fight and bites another dog, you can't get your dog's rabies shot that day. So we don't want to have any of that to happen. It is springtime. As the snowbanks go away, we start to see motorcycles come out. There are a lot more motorcycles coming out a lot earlier. We're asking everybody to pay a little bit more attention, take a second look, so you don't pull out in front of a motorcycle. Just because a motorcycle's smaller doesn't mean it stops faster. You pull out in front of a motorcycle, he hits you or she hits you, they're going to be a whole lot, they're going to be hurt, even at a slow speed. So we want everybody to pay attention. We are also getting ready to take the speed trailer back out, so if residents want the speed trailer scheduled for their road, go on to the Milton Police Department's website, fill out the request for it to go on the road. Corporal Walker will start creating that schedule next week, and we'll start putting the speed trailer back out so we can see where our problem areas are in town, and so we can start curbing the speeding and dangerous driving issues. We are continuing with the state-funded speed grants and DUI grants, as well as the Join the New Hampshire Click, which is a seatbelt enforcement grant that starts next month. So we will continue to push those forward as well.
Okay. Thank you, sir. All right, Billy, back up again.
I think I didn't see you, Chris, but if you want a copy, I had a fourth one.
All right. All I had was, well, I got an email, so what day on the agenda?
So we're looking at a really good deal on a 2023 F-550 dump truck. It's gonna supplement our 2014 that's kind of gonna be on its way out the door here in the next 3 years. The 2014 it's probably not gonna take a sticker this year without going down for a month for Wade to do his magic with it. But even still, it's probably gonna get rotated out in the next 3 years just because of showing its age. So this truck would be a potential replacement for that, and then we're considering the next pickup truck to go might come back as a new 1-ton as well. It just seems like they're a little more useful than a single cab long bed pickup truck. I just kind of attached a quote with obviously the first page is a summary of the reasons why we're looking at doing this. The money would come from the CIP, the tractor finance, and we have 107,000 roughly this year. And from what Pat had told me, it was kind of being planned for a new 1-ton. So
Took back that, but
So, was this quote, did he get equivalent to the state?
that's actually cheaper than state bid. So
Well, that's good.
the state bid, the cab and chassis alone is a little over 60,000. So this is a $10,000 bed and like a $12,000 file for each one. So we're actually saving a few grand on state bid with the whole setup. But yeah, that's the plan for that. We do have all the parts to fix the 2014. It's just that it continually needs to be used every day. So going without a dump truck while he fixes that isn't really feasible. And it would be nice to be able to share some of the workload of that truck with another one, so that we can maybe make it last a little longer versus just running it all day every day.
Okay. No, I mean, I know it's up on the CIP, and,
Just gotta validate the money.
Yeah, no problem.
and, I mean, after the money is validated, I'll make, I mean, if you guys wanna make a motion, move forward with it, if that's so be, just as long as the money is fine, then just move forward.
Yeah, everybody I checked with that said the money was in our line for it this year, so.
Okay, so where are you saying it's coming from, Bill? That's what I'm trying to.
It should be 107,000 and the, should be highway vehicles, or.
Someone, it's coming out of a capital reserve fund, so I guess there'd have to be a separate motion to.
Right, that's what I'm
request
trying.
the funding from.
Highway truck does have 113 at this point. The question being, isn't that where the money that we just put through on the vote is also going to that, towards the lease, will be going into that fund as well, correct? I believe so.
I believe, yeah.
So the only question we just need to make sure, my suggestion is that we make sure that we've got the money and we come back on the next meeting and vote, because that's still only talking a couple of weeks.
So if this money was there, so this money was there before the vote.
No, I understand that,
We
but
voted
we're
to-
also gotta make sure that we're gonna have enough to cover the leases, that's all I wanna make sure of. And it appears that we've got it, Bill, I just want.
Yeah, I mean, everything, all the checking I did, but, that's fine. I'll talk to them and see if they can hold the truck or.
Yeah, to me, and I mean, that's just my comment, but
Right.
we definitely need to have a truck, there's no doubt about that. But,
But yeah, no, do your due diligence and,
Well, we plan on having a meeting next week,
okay,
not 2 weeks.
right.
We could put this on the agenda
Yeah, no, that's fine.
for next week.
Um,
So you don't have to wait 2 weeks, you only have to wait one. And we'll just get the money in order. And then come back and seal a deal.
All right, yeah. I'll let the dealer know,
It's 1 week.
we're gonna put it off another week or two. And,
Like I said, one,
it is what it is, so.
thanks. All right.
and Billy, I mean, we can talk to finance. If we can get something worked out where we know that we're gonna have the funds, the chief can email us separately, so it's not a quorum to get our blessings.
Yeah.
So if you wanna talk to Brittany tomorrow, get it figured out, if, how we're gonna purchase this, then we can do something, so we don't.
Just, I mean, from what I had already talked to finance, and I wouldn't have came forward with it if I hadn't been told by finance that the money was there. And that,
Well, I think, because what Humphrey's saying is,
well, no, I understand what you're saying so when you wanna make sure you have all the money to cover that first payment and whatever else.
yeah,
And the other one.
Let me just, so the article to approve leasing trucks, when would that truck actually get here?
Do you know when those trucks are getting here, Bill?
The earliest would be middle of August.
Wow, okay. Well, I'm just surprised they have them, that's,
Well, they're basically Ours is in process at the factory, because we ordered our green color, and
Yep,
he said that the turnaround time on the build's roughly 3 months.
right.
So, I thought it was a really optimistic date as well.
Very optimistic.
He said middle of July, and I told him, like, let's be realistic, and he's like, well, okay, middle of August, early September. So that was the last delivery I got.
Because how much is that first payment, do you know, Bill?
Well, and here's the other thing. It said, I don't have the warrant article here, but if I remember how it was worded, it didn't say to take the money from that account.
It did not.
It does not, no.
Correct.
It's raise and appropriate $68,000 for the first year's payment.
Exactly,
Right, so it doesn't have to come from the account.
so, right, it won't even, that's,
It won't even affect that.
No, that's true.
because you never gave authority to do it.
No, that's
To
right.
my knowledge, it wasn't going into that line item, but I'm still a little new at this, so.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to make sure, so it doesn't.
Correct.
No, the warrant article for the lease of the trucks is to raise and appropriate $68,000 for the first year payment.
Okay, then we're all right.
Then it didn't.
So then we can move forward on this
Yeah, we
550.
can move
Yeah,
forward. on
it's two different accounts.
So do we need to make a motion to pull the money out first?
You do make it, yes, well, I'd first make a motion
To move forward with
give
this?
him the authority to buy the truck. Then I'd make a second motion to request that
We'll use it from the
that
capital
amount
reserve fund.
be removed or taken from the
Highway truck
equipment
capital.
capital reserve fund.
All right, first motion is to allow Public Works Director Walden to move forward with buying the 2023 Ford F-550 from Irwin Automotive Group.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll read this one to make it easier. So the money for the purchase of that truck will come from the Highway Truck Capital Reserve Fund, the 1997 Highway Truck Capital Reserve Fund, in the amount of $81,190.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, there you go. Yep. All right, fund balance policy, requested, has to be request adoption by the board.
Right. If I can, just for background information, the reason why these are, the fund balance policy, the investment policy, and we also threw in the selectmen bylaws, was that the first two are required as part of the audit. There was we met last week, Chief and I and Brittany, the state gets audited through their, all the federal money that they push out, and they have to make sure that the people that they send it to, have these policies in effect. These policies were actually approved verbally, well, by meeting vote 2 years ago, 22. Matter of fact, you were one and you were. So I just basically took the same two policies, changed the approval date to tonight, and changed signature names. But that's, so that it's, and there's nothing different. I've made no edits to the policy 2 years ago.
You still fine with the policy, Humphrey?
I am. Matter of fact, I'd make the motion to move forward with the fund balance policy.
Are you- All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Second one, no. Investment policy, same principle.
Right,
we
Same,
going
same
forward.
principle, right.
Yep, and I know we went through it, so I'll make a
By
motion
the way,
to,
Joanne Smith was the one that had these policies from
In
another
place.
community, sent them to me, so I didn't really write them. I just sabotaged them, changed the name from that community because they had been vetted and approved by others. So,
Okay. So did you make?
I will make I'll make a motion to approve the use of the investment policy procedure.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And of course, the last one's the bylaws, which we just changed. And that was the ones that we worked on. Andy, we actually used them last year. Now the three of us are back, but you guys are all set with it?
Fine.
I'll make a motion to approve the use of the bylaws for the Board of Selectmen.
all three of them, if you want to take a second to sign them. We can close that.
I'll start the signature, so.
So up next
Yes, thank you.
is the Stratford County Planning Commission TAC appointments.
Yeah, so I'm one of the two appointees, Bruce is the other. I can no longer fill the position after next week, only because I'll be busy doing something else. They always meet Fridays at 9 in the morning, and I won't be around, so. So the county, I think, sent over, and I believe it's in your packets, who would you like to appoint? It's, they do most of their meetings by Zoom. It is not an in-the-room attendance required type of thing.
Bruce is the primary still.
Yeah. I didn't know if Bruce had somebody else in mind, or,
Bruce needs to be, well, we need to re-adopt this to have Bruce as the primary, it looks like.
is it? Yeah,
It showed the term expiring last year, but members will be appointed for 2 years, 24 and 25.
okay. So maybe we were both appointed at the same time.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Just kind of,
Okay. Yeah, you're right, 6/30/23 and 6/30/20, right.
So-
Is Bruce still willing to,
as far as I know, he was still working with them on a
I
regular
believe so,
basis.
because it's one of the few ways to stay in touch with,
Stratford
you know,
Regional.
like, for instance, if the sidewalk for Dawson Street were to come to fruition, it would go through the TAC committee. And other things like that. It is a transportation advisory committee is what it is.
I think, to me, like I said, I think we can, I believe Bruce being the primary point of contact, and we can talk with Bruce, who should be the backup at this point. But I'd make a motion to Bruce be the primary point of contact for the TAC committee.
Yeah, I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And,
Seek, maybe you wanna just give him a call.
okay. Go Bruce.
And we'll need to sign, have we got a document printed for this?
I think that's.
That's the document, but
Yeah, so you write in the name, and then down below,
it would be for us to sign,
yeah,
so
you three would
we'll
sign.
just need that, we'll just need to have that printed out for
Yeah,
it.
I only have it from email, I should say, I don't have it printed.
You'll have to get a copy of it for signature.
Okay. And as you say, it expires June 30th, so it isn't, you know, if you come up with somebody by the next meeting,
You'll be fine.
the other, then you could handle them both at the same time.
Yep.
Us not have to do the paperwork twice.
Okay.
It's just that I didn't want it to languish.
All right. So we're all set on that one?
Yeah, and by the way, the reason for it is they're on a fiscal year. That's why that came up, so that was July 23 to June 25,
Right.
June 30th, 2025, so.
Okay. All right, we'll just get a hold of Bruce and see who will be his backup to the TAC. Okay. Up next, Mr. Beaulieu.
You fellas wouldn't mind if I sat down, would you? Tried to do a little construction like a teenager and it kind of bit me.
Wait till yard work happens.
No, my wife takes care of that. I just drink the beer on the porch. Okay, I'll get started with this. On 3/18/24, the board had mentioned about violations of properties and complaints. You know, I get these all the time. First, I want to say that I'm a resident, Mike Beaulieu. All the information I'm going to give you is public information. I answer questions all the time because people know I can help them. This is my trade, this is what I do. I get calls from Lebanon, Milton, of course Ospey, that's where I work. And at the end of this, I have a public complaint to hand over to the board. I'm here tonight to address a violation brought to my attention. And when gathering the information, I found that the resident/public official found to have a second violation in less than a year. The violation is a structure built with no permit, which means no inspections were done, putting safety aside. I want to bring this to your attention, the ordinance, the RSAs, and the procedure. In the building code, the 2018 building code, which the state has adopted, which means the town of Milton has adopted the 2018 IRC IBC. Under section R105, permits required, any owner or owner's authorization agent who intends to construct, enlarge, alter, repair, move, demolition, or change the occupancy of a building or structure. You know where we're going to keep that word structure in here. To erect, install, enlarge, alter, repair, remove, convert, or replace any electrical, gas, mechanical, or plumbing system installation for which it is regulated by this code, or to cause any such work to be performed. Shall first make application to the building official to obtain the required permit. There are some exemptions. There are one-story detached structures, but this is not this case. This one is attached. I want to refer to our own ordinances here in town. Article 1, page 1, F, permits required. A permit shall be obtained from the administrating authority prior to undertaking any activity regulating by this ordinance for the construction, erection, alteration, movement, or placement of any structure. The administrating authorization shall ensure that the proposed use or structure meets the requirements of this ordinance. That's his job. It's all about safety. He's the professional on this. Page 4, dwelling. Attached dwellings, a building containing 2 or more dwelling units, each unit having direct access to the ground outside. The arranged such that units are separated on one or more sides by vertically party walls, and such that no unit is located over another. Article 4A, a violation of this ordinance shall be subject to fines or penalties as specified by NHRSA 676:17. We'll get that in a minute. This one I put in here, it's a conflict of ordinance. In the event that the requirements of this ordinance differ from another federal, state, or local statute, ordinance, or regulation, the most stringent required shall apply. In the event that the requirements within this ordinance are in conflict with one another, the more stringent requirement shall apply. I want to bring this to your attention, the ordinance, the RSAs, and the procedure, which I just read. It doesn't seem fair that some can break the rules and others can't. I didn't think that I had to, some of my favorite responses in this trade are, when asked why they didn't have a permit, is I didn't think I had to I didn't know I had to. And my favorite is, I was told I didn't have to. Was it in writing? It's up to the applicants, the applicant's responsibility, both in the ordinance and the code, that they seek the information and apply for the permit. It's better to say, no, you don't need a permit in writing than it is to build without one. As I said, the applicant is solely responsible for obtaining either the permit or the info whether he needed a permit. Not the code, which is the code department, not land use, and not the chief. I am requesting that the board take action on this matter. I sent a photo. Is there a way we can bring that down? I have a photo of the structure.
Is that the file you sent me?
Yes.
It's our file.
Yeah, I got it. Fine.
There you go, coming up. Yeah. It's up there, so I'd see it. Mike?
Okay, as far as the structure from a distance, shows no uplift protection, no snow load, no lateral bracing, no point of load. All of these are procedures used in construction of structures. So, as I mentioned, this is not the first offense for this resident. This is a second offense. And he was given a after-the-fact permit for his first offense. Now, the documents I'll give you, these are public documents. So I'm not giving you something that's top secret here. The document you're reviewing now is for the first offense. So my guess is that the resident is well aware that it's a violation.
So if you want that, let's do it.
So under 676:17, fines, penalties, second offense. Any person who violates any of the provision of this title or any local ordinance, code, or regulation adopted under this title, which I told you that New Hampshire has adopted in 2018, and that's where this is coming from. Or any provision or specification of any application, plate, or plan approved by, or any requirement or condition of a permit decision issued by any local administrator or land use board acting under the authority of the title shall be guilty of a misdemeanor if a natural person, or guilty as a felony if any other person, and shall be subject to a civil penalty of $275 for the first offense and $550 for subsequent offenses each day after that, violation is found to continue after the conviction date and after the date of which the violator receives written notice from the municipality that the violator is in violation, whichever is earlier. So that's why I am going to hand you, this is my complaint form to the board. Because we don't have a code enforcement officer, he's out on leave, he's injured, I understand that. So now it is up to the board, and I'm asking Mr. Humphrey, Matt Morrow, to take action on this matter. I can go on, but this really gets very, very sticky and very, very stringent, but it's very, very descriptive of what the penalties could be. So I'm asking the board to take these violations to the, and if you don't do that, I will take it to the next level. Thank you.
What's that? Okay, up next, John Cadwick. You're up next.
Good evening. My name is John Kelwick, and I'm requesting the Board of Selectmen to approve, and maybe already have, to get a quote for 2024 Milton Cemetery's total, or go with the existing one we had in the last 2 or 3 years.
Okay, so, no, I agree. We've got to send them back out. Out to bid. So do you guys want to just?
Make a motion to put it out to bid.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Okay, up next is Mr. Kraus, Back Bay. Sorry. Oh, I'll get.
You want to get Ann first?
Yeah, actually, I apologize. I didn't even see you sitting there, Mrs. Newt, so, we did department head. If you'd like to come up, if you have anything you'd like to add to.
We had a meeting, Ann Newt, for the Milton Free Public Library. The trustees had a meeting today, and we discussed the LCHIP grant that we've been working on. We expect to start work in late May on the library. It will extend longer, and we're going to have to find an exception to the grant, or extension to the grant, because of the bell tower windows, which are going to have to be made. We also have a slight increase in the price, which of course is going to be paid by the town funds, so we will probably be absolutely emptying our capital reserve fund to pay for, hopefully to pay for all of this. We just wanted to let you know that that's what's happening. It may affect the hours the library's open. We're working all on the second floor.
Okay.
That's it.
Awesome.
Thank you, Ann.
Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it. So up next, now we have Mr. Kraus, Back Bay.
Do you want to move the museum up from old business first? That way.
Sure.
John's on his way.
Okay, all right, perfect. All right, thank you.
So the Back Bay is, the board already voted on this and spoke about this when we were creating both of the systems. The system that we had here was a loaner system. The board voted to keep the loaner system and to buy that loaner system. And we also had the system that was in the other one, so we had to purchase this computer. That's what this is purchasing the computer that's in this system to allow us to run the video system here. It also is the part and adapter that is required to allow us to ultimately run this through one of the computers out here, so someone doesn't have to go in to change the screens like I just had to do. So I just need a motion from the board to have the chairman sign this, and I also have the voucher already to go to the trustees of the trust fund, so that way we can take care of that right away once the bill is paid.
I'll make the motion to go with Back Bay's request for the computer and the HDMI capture.
It's $1,262.
$1,262, yep.
Second.
And that's gonna come out of the technology upgrade CRF, sorry.
All in favor?
Aye. Before we walk away from that one, did we talk to Back Bay about the computer for out here? Or are we gonna be able to utilize the ones we already have?
So that's the adapter that should be able to connect to the, I believe there's a town administrator laptop, and it should be able to connect right to the town administrator laptop. So it should be able to be controlled from there. That's what this adapter's for. Otherwise, it should be able to control from one of the 3 selectmen.
Similar to what we had with the other one down.
From the other one. Yep, it's gonna be the same system, it's just gonna be an adapter for this system instead of that system down at the other end should already have the adapter. So now we have 2 different computers on both systems. That system is up and running. We haven't had a meeting down there yet to test it, so, and it seems like the signal blockers are working in here, because
Yeah,
we
we're not getting
haven't had a meeting yet. Since they put the signal blockers in where we've heard any of the music or the, any of those different
Feed
radio stations. Yep.
Thank you. So you're up next, Rich, again, on grant distributions.
This is from the grant for the 120,000 and the 100,000 for the report and design and the report services for phase 2 of the Dawson Street project. So this is so that they can send the request to the state of New Hampshire to get part of their reimbursements. This first reimbursement was supposed to be done within 6 months of the grant, I guess. So when they tried to send in the second one, the state said they hadn't received the first one yet, so this is first and second. So I need a motion from the board to have the chairman to sign this.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
So this, it has the town administrator on here still, but you guys already made a motion at one of your previous meetings to
Yeah.
have it changed
Yeah,
to the
we did.
chair. So if you can just cross that out and just print your name as well.
Up above it?
Yeah.
Just line that
So
up.
print your, sign here and then cross that out and then just write your name above it for. We'll get this sent into the state for the first reimbursement.
Is that it?
That's it. Just the front page.
Anything over here? No, that's.
No,
for
that's
representative.
That's
the
theirs.
state representative, yep.
All right. Up next, was an invitation to ClearGov, but one of the people that we're gonna do it are sick, so they're not gonna be able to do it this week. So moving on to the Emma Ramsey sign. So we did have somebody in here a month ago on the Emma Ramsey sign, and she said that she would really like to keep history in Milton. And she'd like to see that Emma Ramsey sign moved up here somewheres on this property. Preferably, probably down that end where the wreck is, and I just told her that I'd bring it to the board. Would figure out where the best location for it is and take care of it. So at some point, maybe we can get together, us 3.
Playground area? I don't know why we couldn't put it in the playground area now.
So I went down with Luke and looked at the sign, and one side of the sign is in really rough shape. The other side of the sign is not in terrible shape. The wood that the sign is made of is not
It's falling apart.
the best wood, we'll just say that. So I don't know if we want to have somebody look at it first before we try to bring it up here to see if it's able to be saved. But it is weathered pretty badly on one of the sides. And we can take a look at it that way before we try to bring it up here and post it up and it falls apart on us.
I mean, if we can make the sign I mean, because we could always get somebody probably from art class at New to repaint it.
We only need one sign one side of the sign here. We don't need two sides of the sign. If we put that on that end of the building so that Emma Ramsey's facing out from the playground area, basically where we had it, to me, I think that as long as we got one side, I agree you don't want it falling apart either, so.
Right. Yeah, so if we can, I mean, it would be nice just to give it a fresh coat of paint, and I'm sure we can find someone to do that. Probably, maybe even the family would want to do it.
So do you want me to work with the highway department and grounds and buildings and see what we can do to refurb it, and then see if we can get it, how we can get it up here?
I mean, maybe we could even reach out to,
Maureen.
yeah, Maureen Steer and her family to see if they want to, I don't know if the sign could be moved somewhere where they could work on it and repaint it. I bet they'd love to do it, probably, you know? So,
Okay. I'll work with the highway department and see what we can do to save the sign and then get it up here.
okay, thank you. Up next is cleanup of the old town hall, and really, we gotta figure out what we're gonna do with how we're gonna move forward with, what we're gonna do with it. I mean, my suggestion is, I'll get right to you, John. My suggestion is to put a box out here, to have people, you know, give suggestions on what they like to see happen to the building. People that, you know, are coming in to do their business, they can, you know, we just get some ideas what the town would like to see happen to it. And then, we definitely gotta get it cleaned up. I was in there taking some water samples with the water district. And, I mean, we could just, I don't know, have a flash sale or something. If we're not gonna use any of that stuff, or donate it, or whatever, it's probably not even worth that much. It's whatever these guys wanna do, but we gotta do something. I mean, I know the weather's getting better now, so.
Well, the plan was the week of, unfortunately, the snowstorm,
Yeah.
was to have all of the different departments to go down and check the building and check their areas of the building on what still needs to come up here. That didn't happen, unfortunately, because we had to close the building down for 2 days. So
Right.
my hope is to be able to get everybody down there one day this week so that they can take a look at what they need to move out of that building, what still needs to come out. Once we know everything that needs to come out, we can get it moved up here, and then we can start to close up the building and winterize it. The other items that are in there, the board, we can take an inventory of them and see if they're worth auctioning or selling off. Otherwise, we can offer them to other departments first and see if other departments need them. I know there's quite a few file cabinets, so my building needs a lot more file cabinets, so we're gonna take whatever is still usable and what other departments don't want down there, so those things will be used up. There are a few things I think that still need to come up here, and then the basement is still something that we still need to go through. There's a lot of files, I think, still down there, so. But the plan is to get the building closed up, winterized, and processed, so that way we don't have to keep maintaining everything there. We will have to maintain the power and for the fire alarm and the burglar alarm, because it is still a town-owned building.
Now, we talked about a joint meeting with the planning board and Stratford Regional Planning, and one of the things that would entail would be them helping us figure out
Right.
what we could do with that building. In other words, what are some of the suggestions that the state could, the county can help us with?
Because that's part of one of their projects.
Yeah.
Correct, that's on the project list.
A design charrette is what it's typically called. Have everybody come in the, you know, flush out in a evening meeting or an afternoon, Sunday afternoon meeting. Hey, you know, I'd like it to become a skateboard park. I'd like it to become another fire station. I mean, that way, because the reason you would try and do a design charrette is, let's say we were to receive a federal or a state grant to reuse the building, and rehab it, or even tear it down. One of the check marks is, did you ask the community first? Have you gone through a design charrette? Even if only 10 people show up, you opened it up to the public. That's,
And I just thought maybe too, suggestion box out there.
I mean, I've suggested, and it's come up before, elderly housing, because we desperately need something here in the community. And the problem with trying to develop one of those somewhere else is you need a water system and a sewer system,
Which we have there.
and which is one of the few sites in town that we have. And so if the building came down, I could see and relocate part of Charles Street. The idea has been to put up basically a 24-unit, 3-level with some parking and a mini senior center, if you will, for the residents and anyone else who would want to come to visit them, type of community center on the lower floor. So it's just been a thought. There's been nothing drawn or designed. But that's what would typically come out of a design charrette.
All right, well, maybe we can get a hold of the chair on the planning board and
Set it up for our next meeting.
set it up to see if we can just, get a conversation
The
happening.
emails that went back and forth is Jen
This,
couldn't meet till, I think it's May
May.
something.
That was the second meeting in May.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, if I recall.
Second one, you know, okay.
Yep.
All right, well,
The second planning board meeting.
all right, well, we can still
get
get a
on and
hold
clean it
of,
up.
Yeah, we still have to
we
clean the
can still
building up.
get it cleaned
I think
up.
I have a filing cabinet. I hope it's still there. Land surveyor note that we're in a filing cabinet, but I know I need to get out. But I was in the same predicament when I went down to key the building. I was like, I'm not walking through a 2-foot snowbank to get there. Forget that. Not today. Just so. Need to get in there too.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll just get a hold of the planning board, get a meeting set up, and move forward with it, and get the building cleaned up, winterized, because, it's just an expense that we gotta be careful, so. Anyways, all right.
John still got something.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Cadwick, go ahead. Thank you, Matt.
I'd like to make some recommendation on these movable files. There's a tremendous amount of history in at least 8 or 10 of them that I know of. And the biggest one is the cemetery business for years, from day one. And I believe there's also the townhouse restoration, 100% from start to finish with pictures. I think, Steve, you had one of those files for the cemetery in your office. I know there's one downstairs that's got town clerk information for all the burial permits for years back.
Yep.
It's very critical to the town of Milton, not just John Cowick, that we go over these and make sure that we don't throw these out. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll make sure when we're going through there that,
Yeah, I think he's correct that one of the file cabinets that was upstairs in the meeting room was actually the cemeteries.
I think the best place to put this trust house cemetery files would be the highway department.
Okay.
Or here.
all right, we'll just do our due diligence when we're cleaning out and make sure that, we weren't gonna throw anything out like that anyways, but I appreciate you bringing it up just to make us aware, and, we'll get it. So up next is the Plummer Ridge Schoolhouse, discussion. So Chief, if you wanna just talk about the email that you sent me, or us, I should say.
So we need 4 primary documents. We need an agreement, something stating purchase and sales agreement outlining the parameters of the deal, signed by both parties, the Farm Museum and the Board of Selectmen. We need a deed for the building, because the building is real estate according to town attorney. So we'll need a deed for the building signed by the town, which is, because it is technically separate from, it's a separate piece of property that we are transferring to them from the land. The Farm Museum will need a PA 34 form, which is a DRA property conveyance form. Will be signed and filled out by the museum, the Farm Museum themselves. And then we need a CD 57P, which is another DRA transfer tax form signed and filed by the Farm Museum, still required despite the fact that it is a conveyance itself and exempt from transfers and tax. Our town attorney is willing to do these documents that we need done on the town side. They just need some items that I can get offline from the Farm Museum to be able to give these back if that's what the board so wishes.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion and move forward with that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And do you guys want to, since you're here, do you have anything you want to add?
I'll just read mine and then give it to you.
Perfect.
Okay. Janet Hotchkiss, and I'm the program director at the Farm Museum. In regard to the Plummer Ridge, transfer, first of all, I want to say that the museum is very happy about the outcome of the vote. And we got to your town deliberative on that Saturday, May 3rd at 9 o'clock. And warrant article number 19 came up at the town deliberative at 5:07. We were there for 8 hours, 7 minutes. Well worth it. I appreciate the support of the board. I appreciate the support of the stakeholders. And in particular, I appreciate the support of John Catwick, who's here in back of me, for putting those seeds, and he's done this for a long time before I was program director. But we were on the same page, and now the town's on the same page, so we're thrilled. For the schoolhouse transaction that you were referring to, the purchase and sale, I understand, and if your lawyer could do it, that would be, great. And the same thing to create a deed, because it is real estate, so there's got to be something going from, you to us. The DRA property conveyance form, I think I'm probably going to get that online.
Yes.
Okay. And the same thing with the CD 57-P, the DRA transfer tax form. I've attached, and you'll see it on the second page, the full name of the museum, the legal address, the mailing address, and the phone number and such. I also have our attorney down at the bottom, that you can see here as well with his phone number. So if you want to get in touch with him, that's fine. And then who can sign? Well, signing, according to the bylaws, is done only by the officers. And Joe Bailey was going to come tonight, but his wife is sick. And so he'd called me before when I was outside, and I just stepped outside to get some water, and I called him back to see if he was coming. So the 4 people that can sign are here on this page with their names, addresses, phone numbers, and all the contact information. John Hotchkiss is the executive director, but to enter into a legally binding agreement, it has to be a board member. So that's the information that you're going to need to answer your questions. In terms of how long will the museum have to move the building? So I've been calling, and John's been calling the other trustees, and we have to do some fundraising. So we thought 36 months. I know it's not the answer you probably wanted to hear, but I think it's a doable, a doable time, considering that we have to do fundraising in order to do this. I have to give credit to John Hotchkiss because he's done a lot of work already with Eversource, Breezeline, Consolidated, the Ed Brown, Masonry Unlimited, to get the Granite Block Foundation in. Paul Barron, who does a lot of, Barron Brothers does a lot of construction, to put a cement foundation in first, to locate the site, to have proper drainage before we move it. We don't want to move it and just put it on dirt, because that's not going to be appropriate. So we've already been doing a lot of legwork since we had to wait first to hear what the townspeople had to say about the transfer. We're hoping not to violate any of our obligations, and I know that was one of your questions, okay? And I don't see any other, issues right now, because we really are doing our due diligence. But I know, many, many heads put together can always find, something that we haven't, that we've overlooked. We have many ideas for programming and for keeping this open, for the public. It's the only one of the remaining, 4 schools that were once here that really is, in such great shape to open up to the public and the children of the state. So, are there any questions?
How much money does the museum need to raise to move the building?
So, depending on if we have to cut the, I can have John speak a little bit more about this, but if we're gonna move the thing as one whole piece, okay, and the wires have to come down, we can do it in one swoop, it's gonna cost us, about $20,000. But if we have to cut it in half, like take the roof off, it's not really, put it in 2 parts, then it would be a little over twice that, and then we'd have to put it back again as well. Okay, but then you need people, the wire trucks, the Eversource and the Breeze Line and so on, going ahead of you, dropping the the wires or raising the wires, whatever they do, and then going in back of you, and dropping the wires and raising the wires and so on. We also need to have, the cement foundation put in, the proper drainage put in, and of course, you have to have a detail truck taking you up the road. It's about a mile, and I'm not sure, John Caprick said it was 5.78 of a mile, okay, fine. But I think it's about a mile, up the road. And we have to widen, of course, the entrance to the pole barn, which is the entrance that Mackenzie's takes to Farmer Fields. We have to widen that to get it in.
Without holding me to this, $20,000 to move the building. Eversource, 2 trucks, either 6 or 8,000. One of the other companies could have been Breeze Line, about 800. But you still have to get the foundation ready and move it. So I got to take off at least part of the chimney. Time we're done, I wouldn't be surprised if it was 100,000.
Yeah.
Okay?
We just had a repair.
We can do it.
We just had a repair, Chris, to the plumber barn. We happened to be going by in the tractor with a tractor ride. I'm like, oh man, look at that crack. So we ended up calling, it's a historical building, we called, Masonry Unlimited. That little crack was not just a 15-foot crack, it was a 50-foot crack. And the back of the plumber barn had settled 4 inches. So if you do nothing, eventually it's just gonna go back into the earth. And we had to do something last year. So we had to shore it up and put in some new foundations, new uprights, new gravel and so on. It was an $85,000 unexpected, bill. And that's just to take that part, take the water damage out, replace the sills, John?
Yeah, there was probably a foot or more of manure left in the basement of any old barn. That all had to come out, put in new footings. They wanted to use 8x8 posts, not big enough. They had to go out and get 10x10 posts. And some of the boards holding the roof, the first floor in place had to be replaced. So, yeah, it takes money, and we were able to raise the money for that. And we're now looking at this project as one that would benefit not only the town, but the people coming to visit the Farm Museum. Very excited about it.
We're glad that it's not taking more money. We spoke with someone from Epsom who had moved a church, and it took them close to $200,000 to do it. So that kind of was a, awakening in my little heart. So when we were hearing these quotes, I'm like, ooh, this is much better than I thought. So I'm trying to be very realistic. When I say up to 36 months, it could be half that, It doesn't mean it's going to be 36 months. And if anyone who knows John and I, when we want to get something done, like when we restored, the Reunion Grange in Wakefield, we did that within about a year, didn't we?
Yes. Is it all right if I speak from here, or should I be? 36 months to move it, but I don't see you folks holding on to it for 36 months. It might be on your property, but I think it's up to the Fire Museum to insure it, maintain it.
It's-
You can give that to the chief. I'm good. Yeah.
Take care of it until it's time to move, okay? I would see it as being part of our liability insurance, even though it's down the road, it's still, I think it's ours. That would take place when the lawyers all agree on what has to be done, but I don't think that's gonna take 3 years, all right?
And actually, you just answered what I was gonna bring up for a question, because part of the conveyance and transfer of the deed, you don't wanna wait all that time, so. you know.
Okay. John?
I got a couple of recommendations and comments on this. I'm very tickled that the Farm Museum has accepted the building for historical reasons for the town. But I'd like to offer my services with your contractor to review 2 buildings, not 1. The outhouse is going with it, right?
Hadn't talked about the outhouse, but
Oh, absolutely. If you're gonna keep the historical value, you've got to have that outhouse. I got pictures on my phone if you wanna see them.
has it ever been cleaned out? Don't answer that.
It's got the names of the last person that sat in there.
Was that you, John?
No, it wasn't. Yeah, the thing of it is that, I'm familiar enough to know the structure of the building, internal and external. And we will have I'd like to work with a contractor if I'm still available. To work with him because of take roof off or not take the roof off. And the bottom section of one corner of the building needs to be addressed before they start jacking and moving it.
Okay.
And I'm just here to offer the services.
So much appreciated, John.
Glad to take it.
You have a plethora of information, and we appreciate it.
Okay.
If we move the outhouse, I think it'll fit on a ordinary trailer.
All right, yeah, so we'll just pick away at that, that list of things to do, chief. And, I mean, I know Chris did bring it up last meeting. I mean, it is under our Primex, for now. I mean, until, I'd probably say just leave it there until, such agreement, it's not like it's,
Until the deed passes.
Once it passes, then it goes to the,
so,
Yeah, instead of the deed saying land and buildings, it'll just say building only at
yep.
such and such a parcel.
all right, we'll get working and, we'll get some fundraisers going. And,
Exciting times.
yes, it's gonna be nice to have that up there, especially for what you guys do. I mean, how many kids did you have come there last year? You had a lot of kids, a lot of schools.
Yeah, we had over 50 schools last year, and some of the schools, like Garrison Middle School, was 300 kids. I divided them up over 2 days, okay? But it's thousands, and that's just for school groups. We also have senior citizen, nursing home type groups that'll come, and I'll do a little something around, the front area, and I'll bring the animals to them. We also have push-in programs where I'll go out to a nursing home or a senior citizen center,
Yeah.
and bring instruments and, sing with them and so on. And then we have our weekend events like the Pie Fest. So it's thousands of people, and we have our website, we have, Facebook. We're getting a lot of visibility. We'll be at the Deerfield Fair, May 3rd and 4th, for a Farm and Forest Expo, and I'll be back to being dressed like Betsy Ross for the rest of the year. And then we're part of the New Hampshire, the Farm Museum is part of the New Hampshire Adventure Challenge, which the State Library in Concord is running. So we'll have our posters there, and then people who sign up from throughout the state can go to the Farm Museum and other sites that are participating and do some of our activities. And if they complete their card, like a bingo card, then they take it back to the state library and there's some kind of a prize that they get. So it's just exciting to be out there. We've also been in touch with Channel 9, Aaron Falo, and Sean McDonald about coming to help film the move up the road. So I think that's kind of exciting,
Awesome.
yeah.
Shut this off, please.
Okay, hold on.
2 comments. First, I've lost track of how many people driving by stop just to look at the animals. It is unfortunately becoming unusual to see animals in pastures in New Hampshire. Second comment is for you, Chief. The pigs are coming probably this week.
Yeah, they're only 12 weeks old, so we hope they don't get out under the fence again.
Thank you.
All right, well, thanks.
First time we chase them.
No.
All right, thanks, John and Janet, and we'll do our part, and we'll just keep in contact.
Okay, so you have our attorney, you have all of the officers. Yeah.
Yep, thank you. Okay. Up next, Sexton volunteer. So, you wanna-
That's still processing forward. I've sent the request to the attorney to fill out, to do that form. I have not received it back yet. So once I get the form back, we can continue to finish that process. And the job description, I got sick last week, so that was something that fell off the side of the plate. So I'll continue to finish that job description and bring it to you guys the first meeting in May.
John wants to say something. Do you know if we have anything pressing right now with burials, or are we good?
So I don't know. We'd have to ask Nicole or the Public Works Director that question.
I just want to make sure we're doing the right thing, that's
It's
all.
all of that's being taken care of administratively by Public Works Department and Nicole.
Okay,
They are handling all of the administrative side of it for right now.
okay.
So if we have something that comes up, I have no worries that Public Works Department can't handle it, and if they need to, they all have my contact information, so.
Do you know when the lawyer's going to get that back to us?
I have no clue.
I'm sure it'll be soon. It doesn't take them too long, but they gotta draft everything, so.
I know it's a busy time for them right now, because a lot of things in court, for some reason, are all of a sudden processing through a lot faster. I don't know if it's the new block of judges that we got that are just not playing the games anymore and are processing stuff through. So if you don't have all your ducks in a row, they're just either dismissing it or moving on from it. So they're trying to get rid of the backlog that's happening in most of the courts now. So the attorneys are very busy inside the courtrooms, actually, instead of just in their offices.
Okay. John?
Thank you, Rich. A week or so ago, bringing up the cemetery trustees, the way I was looking at was basically not legal. I appreciate that. I put some thought into it, and I come up with the idea that it is legal to do it under a volunteer service form that Milton already has on record. I don't know if you gentlemen know that. It's on the website. And I made out a copy for it to cover immediate, because the other question was just brought up, we have about 7 people working on burials already this year. There's some of them that are waiting because of the water conditions. You can't dig water table, so it's important that we do move forward on it probably quicker than we all realized. But I did make out a volunteer service form I'd like to present, maybe to you, Rich, and I've got it all made out, and I think you'll find that the job description, everything's here. It'll probably work temporarily, objective.
Thank you.
Now, if this goes through, Chris, I'd like to have you back up and redo this thing that you sent to all the funeral directors, for me to be taking over temporary Sexton position.
Yeah, I'd sent the originals over to Nicole.
Okay.
For Billy's, because too many cooks in the kitchen, so to speak.
Will you explain yourself what you mean by that?
If I get involved in it.
Okay, so Rich again, or?
Well, no, so I was thinking Nicole was gonna just take that former letter, change the date, and put your or whomever contact information the board
Okay.
wanted to distribute.
That'll work, yeah,
Yeah.
that'll work, yeah.
So, it's not that I was trying to get out of it, I was just trying to shorten the process.
Let me know, Rich, how you make out with that?
Yeah, this seems to meet the requirements that the attorney was looking for. The board just needs to designate who the supervisor for the sexton's gonna be. My suggestion is the board designates the Public Works Director to that position for the supervisor of the sexton. And then the supervisor of the sexton, Public Works Director, is the one that needs to sign this form.
I'm fine with it.
Thank you.
I'd also like to add that I'm looking at kind of job shadowing John, so that, if something ever comes up and we need an interim person again, we can kind of keep things running smooth and not run into the issues we've had recently, so. That's kind of the plan going forward is on our end.
Okay, good. Thanks, Billy.
I agree with that 100%. If somebody mentioned at the last meeting that we did that before, I think it was brought up. And I think we need to look at that ASAP to get them joined in with all cemeteries in town of Milton like it used to be. We turned it over to the cemetery trustees. We, the town of Milton, didn't budget any dollars to do it, so Mr. Cowick had that and did the best he could with it, but we need to take a hard look at it as a team and get it back on the highway.
All right, looks like you're official over there, John,
Thank you.
and thank you. Any,
There's two more pieces of old business, aren't there, we need to make sure of.
okay,
The Townhouse Road Bridge, because have you talked with Matt Lamprin
on the,
in regards to closing out that project?
yep,
Okay.
yep, and he's moving forward.
Okay. I think the only reason I'm saying is just to carry it here until it's done, because in addition, we need to figure out what to do, we're gonna need to figure out what to do with the funds. So,
Yeah, he was taking care of all of that on his end, he said, just so the town doesn't get charged.
Yep.
So we did talk, like, that first email that you sent me, and I called him, and so he's working on it.
And like I said, normally we just carry it. The Winding Road Bridge, we just talked about the other day, so I think we ought to have it down there until we get that back, because we're waiting for the projected cost and timeline.
Okay.
So carry it under old business until it's caught up to speed. Suggestion.
Okay, no, that's fine, we can put it on the old business. Yep. So is there anything else, Humphrey?
No, that's it for the old business.
Okay. Any other business that may become before the board? Do you have anything, chief?
I do not.
No. So up next is approval of minutes. There isn't any non-public.
No, but we got two sets of minutes, even though there's only one. So I make a motion to approve the, partially, I was only here for part of it, but I make the motion and reading it to approve the minutes of April 1st.
Yep, second.
All in favor?
Aye. I'll let you sign, I'll sign one.
Here you go, Matt.
At the April. And we got the second set of minutes from April 10th, that meeting we had the other day, and I make a motion to approve the minutes of April 10th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, any public comments pertaining to this topic? Any previously discussed? Got anyone? Expenditure report.
I haven't seen anything yet.
Nothing, chief? We good?
We're good right now.
Okay. Town administrator.
Your next board meeting is May 6th. That's the only piece of relevant information I have.
Up next, Selectmen's comments. Matt?
I'm good.
I got one, and this is for, let's talk, talking about the beach. I know the rec committee, we're gonna have a meeting here pretty soon.
Yep.
Been a lot of comments out there, I'm sure everybody is well aware of them, about the beach, the cost, and everything else. I've looked at the revolving funds. Looks like we're gonna be able to move forward with the boat ramp for a lower cost than we projected. We should be able to, hopefully, and if that does go through that way, my suggestion is that the rec committee hold a meeting and offer free beach passes to residents at least this year, because it seems there's enough money in the revolving fund. I haven't seen the 2023 numbers, but on average, we have somewhere around 160 residents have been paying for these. You're talking about a cost of about $4,800. Maybe you charge $1 for just to have the pass, to cover the cost of the pass itself. But with everything going on out there, I think we can do something for the residents to try to offer that back to them. We could even increase, and we've done this in the past, increase the cost for non-residents to help offset that. We've had enough of those too, so. But I think it would be good at the next meeting to discuss that for this year.
I do just want to, and I don't disagree with you. I do just want to bring up that the beach is self-contained and funded. It doesn't get any revenue to run that beach from the town. I just want to make, and I'm not here to try to, in the arguments or anything, I just want to make sure that the taxpayers are aware that there's no tax money going into that beach. It's all self-funded through gate revenue, just like using the transfer station, to get rid of bulky waste. You go down there, if you want to get rid of bulky waste, you pay for it. It's kind of the same way with the beach. If you want to use the beach, because there is a lot of upkeep at the beach. There's a lot of employees that work down there that are funded all through the gate revenue. There's no money coming from the town to pay these people. So I just want to make that clear. And I wouldn't have a problem with it. We'd have we'll have to look and
Look at the cost.
make sure it's feasible, if that's something we can do. Because the town has supported the boat ramp, and I agree. So, but it's something that, it's always brought up occasionally that, there's going to be a warrant article to make the town beach free. Well, to be frank with you, the town beach will never be free, because if that warrant article ever comes to light, there's got to be something to be able to pay for that beach. The dumpsters down there, there's bathrooms to take care of, there's beaches, the sand to be cleaned every night. So there's a lot of work down there. So that's just how it's funded. It's just funded through gate revenue. So.
Well, that's why, my comment was, let's look at it for this year. I'm not saying for every year, but I just think it might be something to give back a little for the year. So.
No, and I agree. I just wanted to make sure that the residents know that.
It comes out of the funds that they.
We need to build a new bathroom down there. The bathroom down there is, of course it's usable, but we really need a new bathroom. That's gonna cost money. There's other projects down there. There's a wall that's falling that we gotta take care of. We take care of all the trees down there. So there's projects down there to do, and we plan on, hopefully getting some of them done, but I just wanted to make that clear that it's not easy, I guess. but anyways, is that all you had? Tom?
Yeah, that was it.
Right, I have, I want to thank the town for coming in to help today at the schools to get the field ready. It's nice to see the town working with the schools, and we appreciate your help, Billy, because they wouldn't have been able to play their softball game today if you didn't come through and help us. So I appreciate that. It's what it's called community working together, and I appreciate it. We have, I want to thank Chris. I think, is this one of your last meetings, Chris?
It is my last meeting.
Yes, so
Yeah.
I want to thank Chris for his services to the town of Milton for the last few years. And I've known Chris for many years, so he's not going anywhere. He's going to be around, I'm sure. But I just want to thank him for his services to the town.
Thank you.
And all his hard work. And I think that's it. Oh, no, it isn't. I apologize. One last thing. We need to set up a meeting for next week to review the applications for the TA job. So if we can just get a meeting together to review the applications that came in for the TA and go from there.
Like I said, I'll get a hold of you, let you know what I got for times.
Okay. Appreciate it. Other than that,
And just before going, I want to say that, Chris, I agree, thank you very much for all you've done here. And your continuing service as the moderator, which we know, but people don't realize, unless you've been around it on a regular basis, how much work goes into everything that had to be done as a TA. The coordination of all of this, the work with us, which is not always an easy chore. But that and trying to juggle everything, and the chief knows this from filling in here at the town hall, that well-deserved thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you.
okay. We all set? Mm-hmm. A motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.